Good morning, Kane. Sorry I didn't have time to make a live conversation with you, but I thought I would just make this video and park it over on YouTube so that you can watch it. If you have any questions, I'm going to send it on a private link. So this is a private link. Nobody else can see it except you and I. And of course, if you share it with your mother, the link is private, so nobody else can find the video outside of just that private link. So I'm just going to use the name Your Client for HIPAA purposes. But this is what our habilitation goals look like. And it's a calendar. So this is what the month is going to look like. And the days that you work, you just need to put a prompt level in there. In the next box where it says key, those are the prompt keys. And so you kind of go through the whole day working with your client, and at the end of the day, you only put like one prompt in there. So the first goal here on the Hab Goals is to improve independence. Your client will use a fork to cut up food and bring it to his mouth on his own with one prompt 3 times per meal. So as you go, what a prompt would be, that we have several types. There's 0 for refusal, that your client refused to do the goal at all. So that's a 0. 1 is when you set the food in front of him and he starts to cut it. He does it all completely. You set the food down, he sees the food, he cuts the food, and then he eats the food. Number 2 is a verbal prompt. So you set the food in front of him and you would have to give him a verbal prompt. So it's like, okay, pick up your knife and fork, cut the meat, put the meat, or put the food on your fork and put the fork to your mouth, and then you eat it. Number 3 in prompting is a physical prompt. So let's say he had his hands, you would kind of hand over hand and physically prompt him, or maybe even just like a touch to get him, like set the fork in front of him, and then you would tap his hand to remind him that he needs to pick up the knife and the fork, cut the food, and then move it to his mouth. Number 4 is a model prompt, where you sit across from him or beside him and you model, look at me, do this, and then you cut the meat or cut the food, and you say do this, and then you move the food to your mouth and you chew it. So that's how the prompting goes. And then what you do is you just put the key to the prompt of how the total of the day went in that goal with the key. Now the next goal is your client will read and say what time it is using a clock with 2 prompts. So as you work on that goal, there again, you can either point to the clock, set a clock in front of him, however you want to work on this goal. And you ask him, what time is it? And if he says it automatically, then that's an independent prompt. If he refuses, that's a 0. If you have to verbally prompt him again, tell me what time it is. Or if you have to say, look at the clock, and then read the time to him and say, you tell me the time now. Model, do this, what time it is. Number 3 is Caden will transition through goodbyes without a tantrum, taking 5 calming breaths within 10 minutes of his departure with 1 prompt. So there again, you want to start to transition him. If you want to start that transition 10 minutes before he changes his activity. And you want to remind him, okay, what are we going to do? How are we going to help transition? We're going to take our breaths. And as he does it, you might have to totally coach him through it. Okay, we're going to take 5 calming breaths. 1 breath, hold it, release. Very good. Let's take another one. How many more do we have left? And you try to get him to try to coach you through it as well, like a teach back that he has to teach you. Okay, I forgot what calming breaths are. Can you reteach me? And have him do that and let him know that the transition is moving from one activity to the next. And sometimes having a picture schedule so you can show like, okay, here is school, here is McDonald's. So first we go to school, then we go to McDonald's, then we, do homework or something like that. And if you need help with a picture schedule, if he doesn't have something like that, just let me know what you need pictures for, and I can get them printed and laminated for you. And then the fourth goal is your client will use a visual chart to complete daily tasks: brushing teeth, getting dressed, feeding pet, etc. So there again, if you need a picture schedule, I can totally teach you how to use a picture schedule, how to go from pictures, and we just like use Velcro. So he wakes up, he washes his face, he would take off the picture of washing his face and move it to the complete list, brushes teeth, eats breakfast, cleans up breakfast, gets ready for school, packs backpack, that kind of stuff. So if you don't have anything like that, we can totally work on that. And then later on, if he is able to read and read well, we can actually make strips of words instead of pictures. And we can graduate to that. And it's all in what you feel comfortable with, and how well he's doing. And so that's what we need, is just to find out how he's working on those goals, if he's mastering. If he's not mastering, what can we do to get in there and shake him up and maybe break it down into smaller tasks or different tasks. If he's completed it, then we want to let the support coordinator know so we can move on to the next step in the goals. So I am here for any questions you have. Unfortunately, having a live phone call is almost impossible for me because the way my crazy life, my crazy schedule is. But you absolutely feel free to reach out to me, ask me questions. I'm gonna try to send this whole video over to you. So I won't do any edits, so it might be a cleaner version, just shaky at the beginning and the end. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will talk to you later. Thanks. Let me know. You can either email me back or call and leave a message or text me, however it works out best for you. Thanks. Bye.